Hi, and greetings. Thank you for joining us today. This is the ShaktiMa's Sharing Wisdom, and we chose to discuss the nature of water, structure, and matrix while celebrating the Divine Mother, given that this is Mother's Day. So I'm going to be handing this off to Karuna Apsa to actually manage the Sangha itself, but I wanted to introduce myself as I'm Suki Sarvaikia, the director of ShaktiMa. I've been involved with both Mahajriya and ShaktiMa for about 12 years or so. I've had the honor of working with many of the masters in both organizations, and I've been very, very honored to have the opportunity to share what they have taught me. And I'm planning on continuing to do that as the director. It's my goal to offer the ability to share this wisdom with as many people as possible, with our phrase, being the change you seek. The goal here is to provide us with the resources and the tools that allow us to be the change we're looking outside of ourselves for. By being that change ourselves, we create the change. So it allows us to work on ourselves, which is where it should be in the first place, and it allows us to share that work. So I'm going to now introduce Karuna Apsa, who's going to be taking over. She is an Acharya with the Mahajriya. She is also our Spanish responsible and our wisdom advisor for ShaktiMa. Karuna, take it away.
Okay, hello everybody. I wanted to say and greet our moderator today, not our moderator, but our person in charge of the Zoom, Ram Pratista. If you could say a few words about yourself.
So good afternoon to all. My soul name is Ram Pratista. My social name is Susan. I am the assistant director of the ShaktiMa. I will be assisting Karuna Apsa today. And I have been with the ShaktiMa, implicated more in depth with the ShaktiMa since 2019. And I've been part of the Mahajriya also since, in and out since 2013. And my experience with the ShaktiMa, not to repeat what Suki Sarvaikia just said, but my experience is at the base is to get to know who I am in order to be the change, to be the change I seek. So that's my experience with the ShaktiMa. There's a lot of tools that help to go through a day in peace and to help us in our daily practices and to help us in our daily challenges. So I'm happy to be here today assisting Karuna Apsa.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and afternoon if you're in Europe. Today we are going to honor the Divine Mother. From my understanding, it is Mother's Day in the US and at least Mother's Day in Canada. And just a general question is Mother's Day in Mexico, I know, was celebrated May 10th. And we're going to speak about the Divine Mother as the Shaktima and the Mahajriya both have a lot of Divine Mother prayers, mantras, training, and it's also in the Shinba Wen. And the Shinba Wen is the seal of the Divine Mother. And I've been involved with that Shinba Wen as well. And today, I just wanted to ask, because of the holiday, I live in West Texas, near the border of Mexico, New Mexico, which we used to call Old Mexico and New Mexico, because it was the old country, and New Mexico. So we're in a 2-country, 3-state area. And we were woken up on Saturday by the Matachines, a parade in front of my house, because at the end of my block, there is the Church of Guadalupe. And in Mexican tradition, I know that we have the Virgen de Guadalupe, which I will not get into detail today, but basically Diego met with Divine Mother Mary, and he put out a cloak, and he brought it back to the parish with roses she had provided. And there's more to the story. It is a brief story. So they continue the tradition with prayer to the Hail Mary in Spanish. And just very quickly, the chant was, Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo, bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. And then the response is, Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros pecadores ahora en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amen. So basically, we do have the Hail Mary in English in the ShaktiMa, only we use, instead of sinners, humble servants. And growing up Catholic, that was part of the process of learning the Hail Mother Mary. In Spain, I have a very good friend who's also a priest with the Maestría, and he has told me about La Virgen de los Desamparados. And correct me, Maribel, if I'm saying this correct, but basically she is the Virgin Mary of the orphaned persons, the people that are homeless, the people without a mother, the people that without a home. And they do great ceremony in Spain, if you can look it up, where they have built a statue that is tall. I don't know how many meters high it is. And she's dressed in her gown with roses. And it is a big deal if you're in Spain to do that. She has become one of my greatest inspirations of late. But that was my Catholic Christian upbringing. And today, when we speak about the nature of water, structure, and the matrix, ShaktiMa celebrates the Divine Mother. I'm going to introduce some of the concepts that we've learned through the Maestría, through the ShaktiMa, and through the program that's available online for those of you who want to progress in your spiritual practice. So we're born, I'm going to speak about Kali, Kala, and Durga. Kala, we have a member of the ShaktiMa team who is Kalanyana, and Kala is a divine goddess of time. And Kali is actually the time. It is the birth, it is the growth, it is the prime or the maturity, the decay and the death. And Kali assists us in moving through that time, and Kala is the observer. And Kalanyana is the wisdom of time. So Kala is the observer as we go through time. And we may still be acting like a teenager while our body's decaying and hanging on to our ways, but actually Kala's time has gone. And we are born, and that's the first step. We're born on this earth. In Sanskrit, the planet Earth is known to us as Bhum, B-H-U-M. Bhum is a place where things happen. We take a form or we take a body at birth, and we call that a container. And this container is where we live and where we go inside to do our spirituality. The earth itself, the dirt, we call Prithvi. Prithvi, the dirt, has the qualities of reproduction, growth, and in gratitude, we are born into this life. Like a plant, we grow both inside and outside our mother's body. We are born, which we sometimes refer to as this container, as I said earlier, and everything we need to thrive is inside this container. Our category at birth is human beings, and we're born into the animal kingdom. And we are powerful beings, and we are made of love. And we also teach the Kabbalah, and the wise men used to say, well, there is something, and what is that something? That is a creator, and that something feels like an image, like a bull, strong and powerful. But that bull is also made of love. And so our human bodies, are similar. We have a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, intestines, a skeletal structure, nervous system, muscles. In man and woman, they are in the same place in the body. Well, the difference between the male and female bodies is our genitals. We have insides and outsides, and the placement of our 2 round orbs above and below the body. And when we are self-contained in spirituality, we call it swasthya, and we go inside. Our home is also inside this container. And we go into this container by breath, meditation, sitting, prayer to discover ourselves as more than what we are in this body, which is a soul and a being. We are born with senses to hear, to smell, to see, to taste, to touch. And our senses take us outside of ourself. And there is a sixth sense, and it takes us out of this container. The senses, the sixth sense, is made of our awareness, our awakening, our perception of our consciousness. We become more than animal. We realize through meditation, study, contemplation, that we are more than animal, that there is something more. And beyond our soul, we individualized in this container as a soul. Our soul, compared to our body, is much bigger. It would be like an elephant trunk inside a can. Our soul is much bigger than we can perceive. And we try to incarnate that soul. And we are also made of divine and higher intelligence. So we go and make time to go inside of ourselves, to find peace, to find understanding, to feel compassion, to feel gratitude, and to be mindful. And we become mindful when things happen in this world that we do not understand, which cause pain, suffering. And we also go inside to bring in happiness, joy, bliss, self-love, truth about ourselves. So in Kali, we go to the aspect of growth. So I'm going to speak about the element of fire, Tejas, which is in Sanskrit, Tejas, from where we get our passion, our energy to live. This life, this fire, becomes our responsibility. And we sometimes refer to this passion as the Holy Spirit. And we've experienced here on earth many, many events. And we grow to maturity. And eventually, with time, this body decays. And Kala is watching, because the time of decay and responsibility becomes more challenging as we grow from our youth into our maturity. We realize that when we could run 20 miles, now it's difficult to walk maybe 2 feet, to walk 2 miles, to walk 200 yards. And in the decay process, our organs and all that we're made of are decaying to go back to the earth. But Kala is watching us watch time, which the human says, I'm going to live forever. And carpe diem and do whatever and all these things. But in fact, when it comes to the decay process, responsibility for who we are becomes more challenging. Our health issues challenge us. And who decides to take care of the decaying body becomes a challenge. The decaying structure that we are in. Because we no longer want to be responsible. We no longer want to look at the things that cause our suffering. To take our medication, to take our vitamins, to take our walk, to take the swim, to eat the good foods, because remember that animal. The animal has its own ideas. The soul has its own ideas, and the divine plane has its own ideas. And we incarnate with our practice inside to look at ourselves. Eventually, we go back to the earth and back to death. And this form and this body no longer exists. We are also born into a universe of planets, the sun, the moon that we can see in the sky, the stars and the clouds. And the universe itself does not have a container like our bodies. And the element is Akasha in Sanskrit. It's a universe of universal intelligence. That universal intelligence, that divine intelligence, is intelligence without thinking. So we don't think how many times we blink in a day, how many breaths we take in a day, how many times our heart beats, how many times we sigh, how many times we hear, what different things we hear, unless we're in meditation or contemplation, in solitude inside ourselves. This universal consciousness, this universal intelligence surpasses our perception and our human intelligence. And we are a byproduct, a side effect, you could say, of this universal intelligence and consciousness. And in my explanation, anything that surpasses our human intelligence, perception, consciousness, we refer to as God. The next element I'm going to talk about is Apsa. We take a little bit of time to drink some water if you have some. It will help, actually. When we do spirituality, we have our malas, our rosary, our tissue, and water. Because water helps us with this intelligence, with this consciousness. And the liquid we bathe inside of our mother's womb is called Shakti. Shakti also has many other meanings. Shakti means feminine power. And in the feminine power, we need to have faith inside of us to feel the love. The liquid we bathe in is made of water, and that word is apsa in Sanskrit. And cohesion is the nature of water. And cohesion is also the nature of the Divine Mother. She keeps what the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and the divine plane have created, and she keeps the cohesion. And she gives us security because we are actually very secure in the womb of Mother. In spirituality, the nature of water, cohesion is about sense. It's about feeling, and then water is the clearest feeling of the Dharma or the wisdom, infinity or effort to concentrate. So I'm going to go to Vayu. Vayu is air, movement in our lungs. It helps bring us convection. It helps bring us into the convection of hot air and cold air in our earth. So in our senses that we have the five senses to look outside, and we misperceive that everything happens outside. And when our lives do not make sense, we're forced to go inside. And in the ShaktiMa, we teach the 21 masks of the ego. We look at our denials because we are made of fear. And we have shame and we have pride. So we need to learn to sit into our fear when things happen. When visible things like in the physical world that gives us fear, we go inside. And we go inside also to face our decay and to face our death. Because what we don't want to feel is abandonment. That feeling of being alone when somebody leaves. When somebody dies, we will be crying for them because somebody we loved or loved us goes. But when we die, somebody will also be crying for us because we are going to leave loved ones behind as well. So this feeling of abandonment is when somebody leaves, and that's also one of the greater emotions that we don't want to see, because it really hurts to be alone, to feel the loneliness. But our Divine Mother holds us and cares for us. And she is Durga. And Durga is the Divine Mother who cares for us, who is the water, who is the caring, compassionate, loving, soothing Divine Mother, who inspires us, who makes us feel that we are cared for, and who allows ourselves to care for ourselves and love ourselves and give us to what we need to evolve. So we become the Kali, the Kala, and the Durga for ourselves, and we're inspired by the Divine Mother, the Hail Mary, the Mary the Virgin Mother that was known in Christianity. We have many Divine Mothers to inspire us, and today we are not going to be speaking about them all, but we are going to introduce a couple today, or three, Kali, Kala, and just a minute. I want to talk about how we live. Because we have eyes and ears and so much stimulation actually in this life, we really believe that everything is about everybody else and things happening to us. Because when we don't want to feel the abandonment, we feel victim. That's a role we take. And we take responsibility for facing. And we take the responsibility to feel the emotions as we go through life. Because that is our responsibility. While we do charity, we try and be charitable with others to help them evolve. But in the ShaktiMa, we don't save anybody because we respect the free will that everyone has. And we respect our own free will. When you see yourself that you don't want to do anything other than be an animal without incarnating your soul, without incarnating the divine plane, because we're free beings. And so we don't have a dogma, we don't have a religion, and please doubt everything I say and find your own truth, because we find our own truth inside ourselves. So in life, we really don't control anything. I know when I am afraid, I try and control things. I control many things in my life. What time I get up, what time I go to sleep, what I eat, what I don't eat. I have a home, a refrigerator, but there are many people in my city that are on the street that have walked many miles to come into this country. And they are comfortable with the fact that they control nothing. And they face death every day to come here, to find freedom to do as they please, or to work as they wish, or to provide for their families. And when people ask me, what about the immigrants coming through? I don't know. We can't control them. We live in the past to the north. This city has been conquered by the Spaniards going north and many people coming through our city. So I personally control nothing. So look at the world, look around you and see examples that could inspire you on looking inside and seeing, what do I feel? What is my responsibility to myself? And how will I plan for my growth, maturity, decay, death? And how will I be responsible when I return back to the earth? because Aristotle says all humans want the same thing: many friends, a good death. And that's one of them. So I'm going to see and break right now and see if anybody has any comments, questions in the